Welcome, everybody, to Forge and Brains podcast. Here with me and Gavin Cooper. Me is Riley Kirkpatrick. Uh, we're just kind of hanging out, waiting for our guest tonight. It's going to be Daniel Jones. So we're waiting for Daniel to be ready. We were off on the time, so it gives us a good little amount of time to do a little pre-funk and look through some of the pictures that you guys have been sending us. Which, man, we love that you guys send us these pictures and stuff. It's cool to see that people want to interact with the podcast. So thank you.
Yeah, sorry we haven't gotten to him sooner. You know, it's just life in general. You just get busy and too much shit going on sometimes. But we've got a little stack here to get through, and we'll talk about him.
Okay.
I just put in the Jake Dale one. It's in general.
Jake Dale, I'm here. All right. Hey, Jake Dale.
Jake says, I don't do handmaids often, but happy with any pointers or criticism. And then we've got some pictures of some feet. So this must be the foot before it's trimmed here.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. That first picture, which it's looks like a pretty good foot, you know.
Yeah, I'd say that's a nice foot.
Yeah, it's just kind of like far forward, right? Like it's yeah, looks pretty good. Looks like it's like maybe migrating to the medial toe a little bit, right? Like that would be my first assumption when I looked at the foot. Like I'd maybe try to address that, check if there's flare that way.
Yeah.
Then we didn't get a trimmed picture.
The nice thing is, like, he's got the shoe nailed on, and you can tell he didn't get into the sole. So that's good.
He didn't. But he also just like right away looking at it, not thinking like just looking at shoe on foot, shoe placement, right? The shoe just looks forward on the foot. And I don't know if that's as much as that the shoe is a little forward, or that if you were just a little short on the shoe itself, especially the lateral side. That lateral maybe you could have just had a little bit more, you know, so it got as far as the medial was, it was straight across, and it would make the job overall probably look a little bit more even.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'd say, like, as far as, like, the shoe goes, he fullered the medial branch just down a little bit more, and then the lateral just kind of stops right there. Like,
Easy
could have just
to
brought
do.
the fullering back just a little bit more on both of them, really, but to keep the way that they exit or where they exit at the same plane across so that they look even.
Yeah. Could have done a little more hemming. The fuller blew out a little bit. But, yeah, like you were saying where it's he's a little short on the fullering on the lateral. Man, that's something I'm still, like, I have to consciously be like, couple more pumps.
Me too. Yep.
Couple more pumps every time on that side, because if not, it's going to be uneven. And like, this is the, like, that side, if it's on the lateral and looks short, it makes everything look really short and off.
Oh, yeah.
It can make things look racked when they're not racked.
And it's hard to tell from the picture, but it looks like the medial could have been safed up.
For sure. Yep. Safed up. I think the lateral could have been safed up too. There's just like some steel hanging off on those back outside corners of the shoe. You could have just had a little bit more coming around. Get to the center of the steel. Where that's you want the center of your stock to be the longest point. Because whatever the longest point is, or the furthest back point, that's where you kind of have to fit the heel to not miss.
Yeah. I almost wonder if he offset the shoe wrong. Because it looks like the inside of his shoe is longer than the outside.
No, I think it's just toes inside out, man.
Yeah.
And he didn't fuller as much on that lateral. So it's just came up shorter.
I think also...
or he marked it even.
Yeah. Yeah, dead on.
Didn't put any offset in it. Just made it dead on.
I think something that would make it more appealing as far as like the fullering goes, like he's got a big gap there from where the toenail is to the stop of the fullering. Like the fullering could have been brought back just a little bit.
Yeah. Yep.
Just enough so you can get crease nail pullers in there, but not as much. You have like a whole another nail hole.
That's really hard
in there on this. So
So
it
like
would be
mark
more
your
appealing.
when you're doing your T-square, mark your T-square, obviously. So it's like if you put your T-square level with the inside of the shoe, so you have that little bit of daylight, scribe yourself a line with a soapstone. Well, then fuller at the top of the soapstone line. That'll give you that gap, you know. And
Yep.
then when you go to put your toenails in, I just go ahead and take my 4-punch and go all the way up against my fuller stop and just do a very light hit. And then, so that just gives you a mark in the bottom of your fullering of the bottom of the head stamp, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now I just come back and I put that bottom of the 4-punch right off that mark. So now I have something like a physical measurement. And by the time I clean up my fullering one more time, you'll never see that little pre-mark anyways. It'll be gone.
Yeah. Yep.
But it gives a consistent gap to give you just enough for your crease nail pullers. Because I was really bad about that for a long time. Not that I'm great about it now, but and when you see the shoe nailed on, it just looks again like like you had to end up doing some rasping to get it up underneath the foot. You know, it looked like everything could have just came back a little bit more.
Yeah, it makes
Like
me think. Like in the trim, he could have put in a boulder toe, so he could dress that back. So then the shoe wouldn't. It would look bolder. You know, have a bolder toe, and
a little bit bolder, and just get it in your trim, so then you don't like. Man, clients see it too. Like you pull that foot forward, and you got shoe hanging over the foot, over the shoe, they like hoof. You're like, you got to do some hogging to get it down. They're like,
yeah. Is this normal?
Yeah.
Unless they've had a natural balance guy forever.
Yeah, they're like, no big deal.
Yeah.
But if not, you know, and you're like, if you pull that thing over, they can see like you fit that thing really sweet. Like it looks, they notice good. So it's like, and you can tell, like, man, like, you just kind of got like, as Troy likes to call it, the stairway to heaven nailing.
Yeah, I was kind of trying to figure out if like you got scared at the toenail or what happened, or if like you didn't, or if you didn't like pitch it.
So, well, I think
because it looks like it's punched in the center, right?
Oh, it might have been a little bit fine on the toenails, like when he punched them, and then he trimmed the foot, and he probably trimmed it and brought it back to where he thought it needed to be, and he nailed the shoe on, you know. And when he was nailing the shoe on, he's probably like, "Oh, I'm already under the toe some more." So you're like, "I'm just gonna safe up and just nail straight up. I'm not gonna keep pitching. Like it's just too many combinations." It just so that I think that's like one of the bigger causes of like pre-dress the foot and then try to fit where you dress, you know. And even if you need to like do one more dressing before you nail on, it gives you a reference. Like you know where to put the shoe on the foot, and you know you're safe.
Yeah,
like that's stock selection, right? Of like trim this foot, and if your hoof wall is half of an inch thick, let's say, for easy saying, then you know you need 1 inch stock, because if you punch the shoes down the center and you have this half-inch horn wall, you're going to be in the white line, and you can safely nail, and you know exactly where you are. That's how long-footed shoers nail on those big packages, is having a reference all the way around of like, okay, I know I have a 1/4 inch hanging all the way around the foot, and that means I'm good in the white line, because you can't see it or anything. They're really far away from it.
Yeah.
But
which
overall,
I think if he was punched a little bit coarser, like the hoof wall wouldn't be like thin and kind of crumbly there at the toenail either. It'd be stronger.
Yeah. So just bring some stuff back, man. I think you're real close. You just need a little bit of refinement in some spots.
And a huge peeve of mine is rasp marks in the feet on like the dorsal wall. So use the fine side a little better.
Fine side a little better, but also props to not going too high on the foot.
Yeah.
That is a big pet peeve of mine, is guys chasing their ass marks all the way up the foot.
Yeah, so, I don't like that either.
It was good.
Yeah, keep going, man. Keep at it.
And then we got Cole Daniel in there, too. So he got some questions. He didn't send in any pictures, but he got some questions. His first question is, any tips on running a fuller smoothly? My fullering doesn't look as smooth as I want it to. It's rough and doesn't look like one continuous line. That's a good question. What do you got for him, Gav?
something that makes me wonder is if the fuller might be too straight on the back. So basically, it's hard to come around a corner and doesn't have any radius. So basically, it's hard and choppy, or the bottom might be too flat and not have any radius on the bottom either. So
Either way, too flat or too
yeah,
round. Too round. Sometimes it
yep,
can go either one.
yeah. If it's too round as well, then like you'll never necessarily get a nice flat bottom crease in there or whatever. Where
No.
it'll just be kind of high low, I guess.
So maybe check the fuller a little bit. Make sure it's tuned right. If you have questions on that, you can listen to the Andrew Nielsen and the Robert Jukes podcast. We went into depth about how a fuller should probably look and be set up to run nice.
Yeah, I think we should have asked him for some pictures of his fuller, but I didn't see his question.
So Cole, if you have pictures of your fuller, send those in.
And
But
then-
just regardless of the fuller, Craig said this a long time ago, and I think he said it on Facebook in his comments. Like, one of the keys to really smooth fullering is little bits at a time.
overlapping blows, kind of.
Overlapping. They have to be just little.
It's like when you're.
If a guy runs a fuller smooth in his hand, the fullering is probably going to be smooth.
Yeah, it's like running your nippers where you're taking like half a nip at a time. It's kind of the same thing as your fullering is just a little bit at a time.
So when I lay out my fullering, I go pretty slow, but I take big bites. It's really big movements. Like I might only move my fuller, let's say 6 times, and when I'm laying my fullering out. But when I'm finishing my fullering, I'll probably rock it like
more
40 times, 50 times. You know, it's very, very lighter hits, very little movements. So that's how you get that continuous pull, you know?
Yeah, not all over the place, I guess, which would be the choppiness.
No, and maybe going a little bit too in depth is we're always hitting our fullers with our hand hammers where the handle is in our hand. And so if you pull the fuller towards you with your hit, you know, it kind of hits the fuller along, right? Like, if that makes sense. And it keeps your fuller on the shaft.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't over exaggerate it, but I do a pulling, like I let my hammer blow all the way through it, a lot of follow through, kind of pulling back towards myself, tightening my abs, pulling my elbow a little bit, and that's pulling that fuller along, maybe making it jostle a little bit and cut along. And so it's not just going down, it's going towards me as well.
Yeah, I guess something to pay attention to is where is your hand when you're hitting it? You know, is your shoulder up or your elbow up high where you're kind of pulling it up, or is it too low? You know, just kind of pay attention to that as well.
You want your fuller shaft to be level with your anvil face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then, so his next question is, for someone who would be new to joining the WCB, what should that person expect? I understand the class system, but does your class limit you to what events you can do at the WCB contest, and how do you move up the classes? I think we kind of covered that with Kurt and Butch, right?
I think a little bit. We could do a quick rundown. So there's the novice is the first entry level that you could go into at WCB. You could go in any level you want. You could just come in and you could say you want to be a Cat 4. There's no determination system really too much on it. The only determination is if you're only allowed to do the novice classes for 1 year.
And I think you can't be a CJF, right?
You can't be a journeyman. Yeah, you have to be under a journeyman. So if you're a journeyman, you got to go into the category. But if you go as a novice, you get to do the novice classes, which are in the morning. So you get 2-day classes. You don't get to do normal match play, and you don't get a chance to make the live shoeing in the novice. But there is a novice match play that you do get to do. So
they do that now?
Yeah, there's a Jim Blurton novice match play. Cool. Where they take a bar shoe and they get a look at the foot, and they have to, I'm pretty sure they do toe clips and fit to the foot.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, and it's still fast. It's a quick class too, you know.
So the first WCB I ever went to was in Eureka, Nevada, and I kind of had a basic know-how. I think I was out of shoeing school by maybe a year, and like I knew how to make shoes or whatever, but I wanted to get a glimpse at what the my competing experience wasn't necessarily a ton, so I just wanted to get a glimpse at it and see what all this hype was about. So I just did the novice and just wanted to go from there. And it really is an eye-opening experience because then you see what everything else is about, and you don't get kicked in the guts too much if you get into the categories and then it doesn't go like you expected. So then you get a glimpse
I
at
would
what
do
to
the
expect.
novice.
Yeah.
And the shoes in the WCB novice aren't easy shoes. They're bigger shoes that you have to make a section from to make nice shoes. And that will transfer to all foraging and horseshoeing. If you can learn how to make a section in nice shapes, game on. It really pushes
and
your head.
you can get paired up with, one of the top guys, like you could have got with the national champion Dylan Crane. Like if you would have asked him, he would do it for you. So it's a great experience, and that's probably a good way to get into it.
Yeah, and so you can move up anytime you want to move up, anytime in the categories. Category 1, you get a striker in all the classes, so you don't have to run the fire by yourself. So that is kind of a benefit of going when you're into the categories and you're now making the harder shoes.
It can be intimidating running the coke fire for the first time.
You get a guy to run the fire for you and swing a sledgehammer for you in some of the harder, heavier classes, so you aren't really just blowing yourself out. And then you kind of are in the mix after that. That's kind of the rundown of the WCB and how the system works a little bit.
And then should we go on to another one here? Let's see.
Yeah, where are you going? Where are you going? To the primary? I don't even know how those get mixed around. Wait, I know we got... What do we got? We had a kid send in some, guy Josh. He sent in some tongs. Those are pretty...
Yeah, those ones are going to be for you, bud.
Yeah. Well,
I am not the tong man.
All right, I got his tongs here. Man, they look pretty sweet. You can tell he looked at some J-sharp tongs, right? So, I feel like he has a good understanding of it. The only thing I could see on these tongs, and I think he's going to be okay because they look like they're made for 1/4 inch, is they're just a little weak going from the boss to the jaw. It's just maybe a touch weak there. Jim Keith said for tongs for the public, you want about 1/2 inch of thickness there. So other than that, man, these things look nice. They look really nice. Can't really give much critique on those other than that without seeing them in hand. They look nice and thin, lightweight. Everything's in line. Badass job. And then he sent in a salmon sideweight. The salmon sideweight is one of the trickiest fucking shoes there is. I think,
I've never even made one before.
Oh, dude, make one tomorrow. Give her a whirl, dude. It is a whipping in the face. You think you can shape up? You know what a hind shoe looks like, or a hind shape looks like. It's kind of like a slider. You have to see a hind foot.
Yeah, I bet.
In it, and you have to think of the time it comes from. So they weren't making really 1/4 shoes. It was really
What is the time? Oh, I see.
It was a J Sharp. J Sharp came up with the shoes. So the salmon sideweight is, I think the silhouette is kind of like a salmon on the inside, and he is from Salmon, Idaho. So
really,
I think that's where it came from too. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think so. Your shape is just too round. The dollop in the middle is good. You have that in a good place because that needs to be at the heel nail, so that lets you shape the 1/4 of the shoe to put it on a foot. And you just have a weak trailer. The trailer needs to be short, squatty, and kind of heavy. But other than that, man.
One thing I gotta say, and don't take this to offense, Josh, but you got some big fingers or long fingers.
Dude, yeah, either that is a very small shoe. That is a stand-handed motherfucker.
You got a big hand. Holy cow.
There was a picture that's... Sorry, excuse me. Destiny Stan's wife put a picture of Stan on with this big statue of Frankenstein. And Stan's hands are almost just as big as the statue.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, it was funny.
That is funny. I think I just put another one in the general. What was this? No, I didn't. Or did I? Oh, yeah. Cole Allen.
Cole Allen. Let me see.
Hey, Gavin and Riley, love the podcast. I graduated shoeing school 6 months ago, and I'm just looking for tips to make my shoeing better. Also, I live in New Brunswick, Canada, and these feet are usually super wet, but a dry fall so far. Thanks in advance. And kind of looks like he reset some concave.
Okay, I found it.
Finish looks good.
Yeah. I think, yeah, you doing good. You're doing no harm, right? Like that's the best part about this.
Yeah, you didn't over trim the foot, which
No,
is
you
what it
didn't
looks like.
overknife the foot. Like that foot's tricky too. Like it's got some knife work that could be done, some very delicate stuff, but it's like, man, if you know your knife skills ain't quite there, don't touch them then, right? Did good.
I think that's usually the biggest thing for younger guys getting in is like
Yep.
getting themselves into trouble with the knife and overdoing it.
Yeah, for sure, dude. I would space out my nails a little bit more. Got them balled up in the front of the foot. That's
I think this is a keg shoe, dude.
It is a cake shoe. It is a cake shoe, but he has empty heel nails there, like on the
I see what you're
medial
saying.
side. I would have just put in a toenail and then that far back one, especially with quarter clips. Like I
Yeah, I
wouldn't
see what
have, I
you're
would have
saying
tried
now.
to span that out a little bit better. Think of like if I was nailing up a 2x4, would I just want two nails right next to each other or one on either end?
Yeah.
Like, that's
So-
money taught me that. Like the biggest benefit to handmaids is putting the nails where you want them and getting to span out that nail on that hoof is from the farthest point forward to the middle to the right before the quarters. So like that shoe had it there. They could have done it, but he did good making that keg shoe fit that foot. Like it has a lateral and it has a medial.
Mm-hmm.
That's sweet.
And not a ton of steel sticking out, like you fit the
No.
foot,
Oh, yeah. It looks
and
good.
you're not super wide, and looks
No,
like
and
the
you
basics are
knew
there.
your climate, right? So he kind of like was being careful.
For me personally, like when you're quarter clipping hind feet and you set the shoe back off the toe, I usually like to see like a bit of more of a 45 in the toe there. That's actually something Jake Engler taught me when I was working with him.
Yeah.
Is put a nice 45 in it just in case, like if they do pull the shoe, then it's almost like there's a barefoot trim there, so it's not really gonna firstly want to like break up. So I'll just set your rasp on the edge of the shoe there, like you're just putting in a quartermaster crease or whatever, and just 45 it a little bit more at the toe, and be a little bit more presentable as like a hunter style clipping, I think.
Yeah, if I come off the toe that much, it's because I think the horse is going to get into himself, and so I'm just trying to be safe as possible, and that includes hoof.
Yeah.
And so I bring off the hoof back too. Yeah, I'm with you.
So we have
Something
another
I've been
one.
doing, like if the horse is long toed, I'll just burn a big old rocker into the toe
Yeah.
on the hind end. I'll draw out that toe and burn that rocker in there.
So another one we got is Michael Hill. And he's got plain stamp hind, plain stamp front, and then there's another photo of... Oh, it's gone now.
Yeah, I see a front and hind. The front looks good, man. Like I think
pretty nice
toenails-
shape, really.
Yeah, shape is sweet. Fit up pretty good. That's where I think I like that front. The nails look pretty good. They could have come back a little bit.
Especially on the lateral.
Yep.
Your
Yep.
medial is back farther than your lateral.
Yep.
And typically you want it the other way around.
But they were spaced the same. Like so, you had to bring the whole bunch back
Yeah.
a little bit. That would have been sweet. But no, the trim looks pretty decent. No, like not bad knife work or anywhere. Like the only thing I see in the trim that is like I can see where you sole relief to the sole again, and so it's like a fresh cut piece.
Yeah. Just not
I don't know.
eye appealing.
Yeah, it does nothing. God, it bothers me.
Yeah.
It just drives me. I don't even know if clients will ever notice it or not either. But it's like
It's something you need to do. Like you don't want that to be making sole pressure contact, So
oh yeah, no, good
it's
on
necessary,
you for doing
but
it.
as far as like being eye appealing, it's just kind of an eyesore. So
Yeah, and like as far as like a certification contest, or even your client, like if they pick it up, like why is that part bright in this part?
yeah, I get that sometimes. Like
Yeah, you just like
because they'll ask like, "Oh, what's that little mark?"
Yeah, they don't know. They don't even know. Like it's no bad, but it's just like just
They're just
better.
inquisitive.
Yeah, sometimes it's better to just like clean something up so they don't even have to ask you the question. Like it's
Yeah.
just never. And all it, like you didn't even have to do like a reburn or anything. Just grab your fine wire brush and just get after it for five
Yeah, or
seconds, and it would
sand and
blend it
sponge.
all in. Yep, sand and
Yep.
sponge too.
As far as like the one thing that I see like is with the frog where the outside of it is like it's leaned over a little bit more, and then
Yep,
he's like more straight up and down on the inside
both
of
feet.
it. So just kind of. I think actually he sent in something. No, it was a different Mike Hill. We got two Michael Hills.
That's the one thing I could get like be Mike if you're gonna work on something is be aware you have good shapes in your mind and decent like good trims like you just need to be more body aware. You were making consistent like the knife leans to the same side each time. Your lateral toenails on this side of the shoe is up higher than the other side. Like so it's just it's happening to you consistently, so treat it like an old rifle, like adjust.
Yeah, and
Don't keep
toenail on the
using the
front,
crosshairs.
his toenail on the front got punched a little deep too, compared to the others
The toenail?
on the front.
Like coarse?
No, just like the punch got
Oh,
drove.
okay. Yep, I agree.
It's kind of actually the same with all the outside nails, so they're just down
Yep.
there, punched down a little bit more, I guess. Deep.
Yeah. More comfortable punching that side than the other side.
And again, like kind of a big thing for me is safing up the medial branch. Like,
Yep.
It doesn't look like you've ran a rasp on it. Like the edge looks sharp. So
Yeah.
to me, like that's not safe horseshoeing. Like if a horse brushes up against himself, you want that as safe as possible.
That and like both front and hind, there's just like the farthest point on the heel is on the medial is like all the way to the outside. There's like a little tit there.
Yep.
And you'll watch a horse, like especially on the hind end, when they'll like go and rest their one foot, they'll rest it on their other leg, and then they're dumb and they'll go to stand up, and when they stand up, they cut their hairline with that little tit hanging off the back of the heel, and so it's
then
like
you're
that's
dealing
like,
with the scar.
yeah, or yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just he's good safe horseshoeing. Just bring it all the way around.
It's clean.
Think,
It was nice
yeah.
and clean.
Yeah,
Good
I think
basics
you're
there,
going. Just
good
be
start.
aware of your sidedness and adjust.
Yeah.
Do you have any in the emails?
I don't think so. Trying to see. We had some other ones. Oh, we have one Megan Coyle, and that one's in general. And it says, well, she's got a bunch of pictures she sent us, and says, "Good morning. What would you do for this foot? Inside out foot due to injury. I feel that the toe looks long on top and then maybe short or enough on the bottom. I want to do more. The foot looks okay when I am done, but in 5 weeks, it's long. Help." Well,
Yeah, that's a fucked up foot, huh?
that's a good way to start out. Yeah, it's fucked.
Thing doesn't look great. Like
Nice, you toe clip it. Nice.
I don't know if man, that was gonna be my first thing. Is like I don't know if I'd toe clip that thing.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, good job on doing it.
I think it didn't look bad toe clipped. I think it's just man, it looks like the other foot's got weird things going on too, huh?
For some reason, my
Got a big old cleft in it as well.
pictures are.
I think there's some to come back on the top. You agree? Like that, the third picture down where it's just a split by itself looking down at it, I think that's where it starts looking long. It's like the medial toe is just out there a little bit. I would just gather that thing back a little bit because the foot's running away on a diagonal. So you got that lateral heel that's crushing underneath, and you got that medial toe that's just running out, trying to like even stuff out. That's the way the feet work, 'cause they all kind of squish on a diagonal. I would bring that medial toe back as much as I could, and I'd probably lift the lateral.
Oh, almost like a reverse side bone then.
I would reverse side bone that thing. Yeah, for sure. I would maybe even get underneath that medial toe a little bit on my
Looks like she
fit.
fit it well.
She did fit it well, but I wouldn't fit it. I think I'd make it look like it should. Like I'd try to make it look more eye appealing because like she fit it when you see the fit her shoe on there, and like that's hard to do, but we aren't like I wouldn't fit it.
I don't know. I think the one where it's the foot burned on, you can kind of see where that injury is. Like I'd probably like cut away some of that to like let it relax.
That
like
injury
get your
ain't going
trim.
nowhere though.
Yeah.
You think it would drop?
No, I don't know that I'd be worried about getting it to drop. I'd probably like be trying to get it to be more solid right there. Usually, like when I see like foot flapping off by the shoe right there, I just get rid of it till we're solid contact or solid wall.
But like when you're looking at that burned on foot, you know what I mean? That burned. Okay, I'm with you now.
Yeah, I would just get rid of like the little bit of flap that's just right there at the bottom. Like, I don't know, that's just me.
Yeah,
dang, that freaking the bulbs picture. Like, I mean, not the bulbs, but the same burned on. Like looking at the bulbs is like crazy.
Oh, they're pretty pushed up.
That frog is just weird, man. Like that's a tough foot.
Super tough.
I don't know. Like maybe probably just need to be dressed back just a little bit more, like you're saying, and
rock on.
Yeah,
You're
I guess
not gonna fix it.
No, it's never gonna be the perfect ideal foot ever again.
No, I would back right away. Just get that thing underneath of it, and I'd fit that thing really tight and upright on that medial toe.
And if they're worried about the feet looking long, like rocker it, put a nice rocker in the toe.
Yep. I do that quite a bit. Like when you get these older horses, they're kind of running away or they got injuries, so I'll put a rocker in the shoe when the shoe's really open in the boomerang,
Yeah,
and
I do it a lot.
And so then when I close the shoe up, it's almost like a salad bowl type deal. It's got this continuous rocker pretty much going from widest point to widest point. It really gathers those feet up and makes them look shorter.
Yeah, the front half.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a tough foot. Tough foot to shoe. Like, good job.
No, I think like she's doing good on it. Those are always the hard ones because it's like, but it's crazy what like a 1/16 of an inch will do for looks.
That's what she said.
So this week we had so our man Troy Woods.
Yeah.
Troy is I'm just gonna guess here. Troy is the first Cat 1 to make the WCB team.
I think that's what Craig said the other day.
And he is the first guy from Washington, you were saying?
Yep.
There's a couple other funny things that hit me. Anyways, Troy did amazing this year at the World Championship Blacksmiths. And so he is going to be on the WCB team this year. And so now that opens up a spot on the Pacific Northwest team. And so Gavin is going to step in. He's going to be our new teammate.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, and it'll be cool for the podcast because Gavin's going to travel with us now, like going to the practices and going to the competition. So we should be able to get more of these little like nighttime and stuff like that. Quick podcasts after practices.
I think it'd be cool to do a podcast like after we get done with the practice and just we just talk to each other like we normally would, like discussing like, oh, we did this wrong or we could do this better, and then I'll try to include pictures in it so like those of you that are watching, you can check that out and see like our progression,
Yeah.
And then see how badly we screw the pooch when it comes to competition time.
I think it's just going to be like this next contest is going to be a little bit more of an eye opener, I think, for us, and not necessarily like a whole eye opener, but it's like it's going to be an international contest, and so it's going to be
and it's the original classic format.
Yeah, bigger teams, harder shoes,
caulks and wedges.
Hawks and wedges. Got heels,
Yeah.
boys. Got heels.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this looks like Daniel's ready for us. So thank you, everybody, for joining us for the pre-funk.
Pre-funk.
Send us in some more suggestions and some pictures. We
And
appreciate it.
we'll do it. Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Short and sweet.